Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.
Welcome to Kalamazoo Lively Arts, the show that takes you inside Kalamazoo's vibrant creative community and explores the people who breathe life into the arts. Hi, I'm John Koch here at Miller Auditorium. On today's show, we look at creativity and collaboration in Kalamazoo through the work of women. We'll hear about Girls of Color and the Dacia Bridges Project. But first, Deborah Warfield sits down with us to give us the history of the Media Arts Academy and the ways media is used to enrich the lives of youth.
Deborah, you're the founder of the Media Arts Academy, and I wanted you to tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to found that.
Well, I actually started the school with down at Antioch College going to get management so I could come back and show men how to do it right. And I took an art class and I took a video class, and I was bit by the bug and switched my major to communications. And that's when I learned all about the power of communications and unlocking voice and that kind of thing. And then the fact that there weren't very many women in media, I was intrigued by that journey.
So Deborah, what is the goal of the Media Arts Academy?
The Media Arts Academy will live forever just to empower kids with voice and action, opportunity to get quickly into the media industry. You know, if a kid can learn how to do a camera, and they can learn about production, and they can learn about storyboarding and all those things, they can pretty much begin to equip themselves with some employable skills without going through a bunch of hoops.
So I'm here with a couple of the girls from the Media Arts Academy, Jimena and Diamond, and you've learned some really interesting things, haven't you?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've learned?
We learned a lot about interviewing.
Yes.
And
steps to
interview someone.
Yeah.
And
So are you going to try to interview me?
yes.
Yeah. Oh, you're
okay.
right.
Okay. So,
This is uncomfortable because you got to understand that I'm used to asking the questions.
yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's start off with, where did you find your interest for the radio station?
Well, when I was a little kid, I used to listen to the radio all the time, and I'd sleep with the radio on, and I'd call the DJs, and one day, Rockin' Ron, the DJ, said, "What do you want to do when you get out of school?" I was 14, and I said, "Oh, probably be a DJ," and I never realized that there were no girls on the radio at the time. And I practiced in my room. I had turntables, a microphone, and a tape recorder, and that's where it started.
Okay.
Okay, so did you have any like challenges or barriers as you were trying to get into the career that you have?
Yeah, there were management that I worked for at various times throughout my career that felt that they had to put a woman on because it was mandated. It became kind of law that they needed to start integrating women into radio and television. And I never heard a woman that did her own radio shift. It was always a woman who was a sidekick to a man on a morning show. And so I got the first full-time radio station when I was in Detroit. I was the first full-time woman who was on the air working for this company. And for about the first 10 years of my career, every station I went to, I was the first full-time woman that they had hired. So I kind of consider that breaking through the barriers. Now it's pretty open. It's pretty open for everybody. They're still there,
right,
and you still have to push through them, but it's not as difficult as it was.
Okay. So how old were you when you did your first show by yourself?
When I did my first radio show, I was 15, and I drove down to Knoxville, Tennessee on like that little temporary permit thing that you can drive with, and I just did the weather and the time. And they recorded me, and then they played it throughout, and then I attended school year-round when I was in high school for 2 years straight, so I could graduate a year early. And at that point, I moved down to Knoxville, Tennessee from Detroit when I was 16, and I did my first shift there.
Oh, that's pretty young.
It's very young, very young. I knew what I wanted to do. You know, I had it in my head. That was meant for me. I can't imagine doing anything else. So Deborah, paint the picture for somebody who joins the Media Arts Academy.
Well, they come in and they learn about themselves as a member of the team, and they build a team, and then that team actually identifies an issue that is important to them. And then they take that and they do research on it, basic research, so that they understand some of the nuts. Always there's a research component to whatever they produce. And depending on how much time we have, they can go deeper. If it's only a few weeks, or if it's a couple of months, they do deeper research. But all media products are done with research content, so kids are exposed to that. And then they decide, oh, I want to be a camera operator. No, I want to be the mic. I want to learn how to do. And so they pick the areas that they're interested in and get basic training. And then they pick the team. Sometimes that switches up because they see they don't like what they picked, and somebody else is better at directing. And so we're a little flexible until they get it in gelled, and then they actually do a storyboard and learn about treatment and learn how to do a production book. And so they have to understand the nuts and bolts of how do we get our issue and our research that we've completed into an actual product now. So Diamond and Jimena, how did you come up with those questions? Because you asked some really personal questions. What was the process that you went through?
Well, when we first learned how to interview, the first thing we learned was get the person comfortable. And when they're comfortable, then they'll be able to talk to you better.
And be more open to the questions.
So you start on a personal level, and
But work your way through them.
Yeah, I always like to save the question for the end, like if I'm going to get hung up on the phone. I like to save that to the very last, and kind of a hard-hitting question before we wrap it up, because sometimes you can really get to the depth of a person. You know, once they've shared their life, they're more liable to answer a question that may be a little more controversial, you know? Yep. But you're right, you have to get to know them first. You have to put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
Well, Deborah, you are just doing some incredible things here in Kalamazoo. And I was on your website, and I want to leave it with the quote, which Maya Angelou. It doesn't get any better than that. Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. So thank you so much for helping everybody achieve that.
Thank you for helping us tell our story.
The 8th grade is a pivotal year for young women, and Gurlz of Color is a newly formed organization working to set students up for success and offer opportunities for leadership and growth. Deborah Warfield tells us more. Watch now.
So Deborah, the Media Arts Academy is a long-standing program. How did the Gurlz of Color kind of get birthed from that?
Well, the Media Arts Academy was amazing. I'm not the greatest business person, so we were kind of all over the place doing some really exciting things, but we needed sustainability. And so I took a step back. I got engaged with an executive coach, and we honed in on what is my primary focus of all my energies and my gifts and the needs and the talents. And that's when I honed in on 8th grade marginalized girls of color. We spent 3 years in research before we actually did our pilot, first year last year. And that's how the Gurlz of Color was birthed. Media Arts Academy is co-ed and had a broad range, but the Gurlz of Color is targeted 8th grade marginalized girls of color.
Can you tell me some of the art skills that the girls are getting and the power of being able to have those skills?
Well, the first one is the art of effective communication and how they use their words to paint freedom and power and opportunity and advocacy. With the art of the media arts, even this summer when we exposed them to the basics of documentary preparation for the longitudinal research, they're understanding that it's more than just you turn the TV on and you see something. They're looking at what's behind, what does it take to actually identify an issue and frame it in a way, get your message clear, and then what medium are you going to use? And then with the spoken word, you know, that's the art of them being able to turn their experiences into a vocal dance that they learn how to do from within and out to the community, that where you can actually begin to find some way to vent this trauma or to vent this love that you feel or to vent these challenges that you have when you're trying to be in a world that doesn't fit for you because you might be of a person of color in racial disparities and they don't understand your language and how you dance.
Jimena and Diamond participate in Girls of Color, and you are going to show me a little bit about what goes on with Girls of Color.
Okay, so when we first get here, we do Settle to Learn, and Settle to Learn is basically, okay, you pick a game basically, or something to get your brain off of what's going on at school or at home to Girls of Color and focus here. Okay, so we usually do a game. For example, we do 2 truths and 1 lie. And
I'm already scared.
okay, so I'm gonna say three. What are these called? They're facts. They're not facts because one's a lie. 3 stats, yeah, okay. And you tell me which 2 you think are the truths and which one you think is a lie. Okay, I have dyed my hair purple before. I have 13 brothers and sisters, and I've lived on top of a barbershop.
I think the lie is the 13 brothers and sisters.
No.
Living on top of a barbershop? I'm really bad.
Okay, no, I've never dyed my hair purple. And
What ages are we talking about when it comes to Girls of Color?
So the Girls of Color, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and as I said before, each year they get more responsibility. Each year we're going to have to adjust what opportunities they have. Each year we're going to expose them to more leadership roles, and so that's an expectation. And so by the time they're in 12th grade, they will have research completed, they will have community service regular completed, they will have women role models that they have relationships with, they will have a map that they will actually be able to have follow-alongs and see where they are. And academically, they're just got to be on top of their P's and Q's with that. And so whatever it's going to take for us to do that.
So you told me a little bit about some of the affirmations and the exercises that you go through with Girls of Color. You also do research.
so back in September last year, I lost my brother, and we wanted more answers. So it caused me to want to go deeper and figure out what was going on. Why did my brother die?
Right. What did you discover through doing all that research?
It's really deep. It's really deep. Infant mortality rate is the rate that babies die per year from the ages of birth to 1 year old. Okay, in Kalamazoo, the infant mortality rate is higher than anywhere. We have a higher infant mortality rate than they do in Uganda.
Wow. So what did you do with all this information once you did all the research? How did you put it together?
We learned how to make a documentary, and that was hard too.
Yeah, right.
Because we've never made a documentary, so we had to start from scratch. And we went to the media center, and we learned how to record a documentary and how to put all the information into a documentary. And we're working on a documentary.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dacia Bridges has done many things in her career, but has found a home in Kalamazoo where she's come together with a group of talented women and formed a band called the Dacia Bridges Project. Listen to their story and watch this powerhouse perform live.
Hey, wake up, stand up, quiet talking about what you can do, just do it right now, somehow. You will find a way, only you can get you through it. Don't think about it.
Okay, so I'm here with Dacia Bridges. You're a model, a musician, an actress, a dancer. How would you describe yourself?
Real. Totally real. No, I think it's, yes, I've done all those things and I'm not doing a few of them anymore because I'm getting older, mature age. No, but I would express in music, it's very emotional, and I think that you can only write stuff like that the older you get. So there has been a journey of, you know, you start with the dance music, then you have the new metal, and then you go to singer-songwriter because you've lived through different phases. So that's basically how I'm explaining, or how I would explain my music and myself.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Basically, I was a break dancer for Coca-Cola when I was very young, so that was basically my music influence. Never wanted to be a singer, wanted to be an oceanographer. Actually didn't work out. And then so I went into modeling, dancing, and then found the stage and ended up loving performing.
Hey, people, what's the problem? To lend a helping hand when you need a hand up.
Now, you had a #1 song on the German pop charts. Tell me about
first
the
in
song.
Italy, yeah.
Yes. Tell me about the song and how you came to write it, the inspiration behind it.
Well, the song was actually first a rock song, and then I was partying in Ibiza with my friend JCA, and on the 5th day, he was like, "Don't you think we should work?" I was like, "Yeah." So he put a beach towel up, and he had all the setup with the microphone and the computer, and so I wrote the hook line there, and the other lines are from another song that I had wrote that I never used. And then basically we did the song. And so for about a year they were shopping it around. It was so funny because in Germany they were like, "Oh, we don't know." Italy took it right away and it blew down the house. And then it was #1 for about a year. But they didn't have a face because I was signed with my new metal band, and Germany at that time had big problems sharing artists doing different music. So about a year after that, then Kylie Minogue's sister, needed a hit, and she didn't have one, so she asked to do the song. So gave the permission, and so it's her #1 song still today.
Wow. So I'm kind of curious, you've lived in Germany for all of these years. Are your songs in German? Do you have any German songs? Are they in English?
Yeah, no. The songs are in English, and I've only recorded one German song, but actually I have done a show over one of Germany's Beliebten, which is Marlene Dietrich. So I do have a Marlene Dietrich show. And that's where, you know, in the future, singing more German and French, but I don't prefer to sing German, no. It's okay to speak it, but English,
right. Wait, takes it to another level.
With my mother tongue, yes.
I love it.
Hey, yeah, you are powerful. I know I have been there before. Sometimes it takes someone who cares to make you realize just how much you're worth and what you have. Hey, wake up.
Dasha, what's your process? I'm always interested in the process when you are writing.
It's everything. I think that it's, you know, your love, your heartbreak, your friends. It's a moment. It could be something funny. You know, songwriting, I don't think there's any, there's small tricks that you can use, but I don't think there's any special way to write a great song. It just has to be real and honest.
Yeah. And I read that you said that you just have rock and roll in your blood. So
Oh, yeah.
What does that feel like?
Good, it's good stuff. There is nothing more cool than being in front of a wall of sound and rocking out 60,000 people. There's nothing cooler in the world than that. Or even in a small bar where it's so intimate, it's hot, you're sweating, you feel the sweat, and you're just getting it. There's nothing better. You know, I still got a few more years under my belt. I mean, I might have to do the Tina thing for real.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's just nothing better than playing live, and especially if you get the chance to rock out. Yeah, this is just great.
The hours turn and I must find a way to make it right. And I thought I'd seen the light. It couldn't break my skin.
I think I read somewhere, I think it might have been a critic that described it as classical mixed with pop or something.
I think it's a lot of different things, but I've been called a few things like the Madonna of rock in Germany because I basically put my dance influences into my rock stuff. So yeah, I think it's just a yeah, it's kind of a story of my life. You know, I started with dance, went into new metal, went underground, kind of punk, heavy rock, and then went to singer-songwriter. So basically all the elements through writing and performing I put into all of my music. So I'm just doing what I love.
Yeah.
Basically you could cover it with the pop blanket.
Yeah.
You know, but it still has a little bit of edge and a little oomph in it.
Well, Dasha, I just want to thank you so much for talking with me today and sharing your life story. It's so interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Kalamazoo Lively Arts. Next week, we go behind the scenes and see how 3 organizations come together to put on the production of The Nutcracker. We leave you tonight with a performance from the Dacia Bridges Project at Old Dog Tavern. I'm John Goke. Have a great night.
Okay, so this song is called Unpredictable Child. So searching to see what I can find. I'm on my way, baby, with a nickel and a dime. I just got an attitude, and with that I will survive. Money is no object here, 'cause all I've got is time. So I wanna move on and live my life, and live my life. I wanna live my life, yeah. I don't need no man to hold me down, a job telling me to quit. I don't want no rules to live by, babe, just a will and a way that sticks. But I do know this, I wanna be free, like a young, unpredictable child. Crosses the street, not afraid, but has a smile. When you have all the courage to stand alone, climb a wall and you fall and continue on. Like the birds and the doves that fly above, spreading their wings. A little bit of joy and love, a little bit of joy and love, yeah, yeah. A 1,000 miles of road ahead, it might take me a while. There's a car coming about 50, a nice man with a smile. He pulls over and he says to me, the stretch might take you a while, yeah, girl. Well, I smile back and I say to the man, no, I'm doing just fine. With the sun on my back, a free spirit, a heart, I ain't got nothing but time. I just got an attitude, and with that I will survive. And I do know this, and I do know that I want to be free. Like a young, unpredictable child, crosses the street, not afraid, but has a smile. When you have all the courage to stand alone, climb a wall and you fall and continue on. And like the birds and the doves that fly above, spreading their wings, a little bit of joy and love, a little bit of joy and love, yeah, yeah. Like a young, unpredictable child, crosses the street, not afraid, but has a smile. When you have all the courage to stand alone, climb a wall and you fall and continue on. And like the birds and the doves that fly above, spreading their wings, a little bit of joy and love, a little bit of joy and love, yeah. as they say in German, Heide Nei.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.